Thank you kindly. Thanks for having me again, Katie and Dave and Lori and all. It's a great theme tonight because everyone here we can all wake up tomorrow morning and go, well, I didn't do that. I'm not that knucklehead, and I am here for you on that. Happy to provide your comic relief. Just to know who I'm dealing with here tonight, do you guys know of Ely, Minnesota? You know where that is? You're hip to Ely? You love Ely? Right on. Spend time there or just sort of know Ely? All right. Love Ely. God. This is, and I got to say, Katie asked me to do this, and I thought, just one mistake? One best mistake? That's all I get to represent? This was the first one that came to mind. This is a story about a road trip of mine to Ely, and I wrote it the year after my son was born, so it was 1996. And I published it in the St. Paul Pioneer Press, and I republished it in this book right here. That's how bad I feel about confessing. Talk about Catholic. Dougie, I'm still Catholic, apparently. It's called No Direction Home. The Minnesota Department of Motor Vehicles issued yours truly a driver's license a couple months after my 16th birthday. I'd survived all the parallel parking drills and other tests, but there was one more hurdle to be hurdled. It came not from the state, but from my mother. You can only use the car, she said to me the day after I got back from the testing center, if you promise to not play the radio. By then, Ann Walsh realized that her fourth born was gone on music, that it took me places that not even my driver's license and my late Grandma Walsh's hand-me-down 66 Impala, dubbed the White Bomb by all it was handed down to, could. She knew she had a dreamer on her hands, and she feared that this combination of a fast white bomb and faster beats would conspire to wrap my dreaming adolescent ass around a tree. The no radio mandate didn't stick, of course. I told her not to worry, assured her that I'd be careful, and lit out. Besides, what are you gonna do, Ma? Within weeks, I was tooling around the lakes with the radio blaring. Within months, I had installed a cassette deck and cheap, bulky stereo speakers that made the boom cars of today sound like drive-in theater cans. A couple of decades later, not much has changed. And now that Labor Day weekend is upon us, I wrote this Labor Day weekend '96, when more Minnesotans hit the roads than at any other time of the year, and when thousands more will embark on fall color tours and cabin closing missions in the coming weekends, this is a good day to roll down the windows, crank up the volume, and celebrate the unique joys of listening to music in the car. It just so happens that such a celebration provides me with a rare opportunity to confess one of my deepest, darkest secrets. In fact, there are only a handful of people, my closest loved ones excluded, who've heard the story I'm getting up the nerve to tell you. Yes, it's time to come clean. It's time to admit that Ann Walsh's instincts, though it took some 20 years for them to come true, were right on the money. What she feared all those many years ago was that her son would be seduced by the most sonically perfect music listening environment there is. In the car, music feels better, deeper, weirder, more intense. Music can transform even the most ordinary vehicles into chapels of reflection and introspection. And the endless parade of roadside sights, billboards, and bumper stickers that accompany it can make for one big, beautiful, endless haiku. Adopt a highway, chewing out a rhythm on my bubble gum. Deer crossing next 5 miles. I was born in a crossfire hurricane. KFC, all-you-can-eat buffet. I'll try to find you left at the dial. Betty's Pies, I hope you had the time of your life. Food, gas, lodging, next exit. Where were you when we were getting high? Ask me about my grandchildren. Mean people suck. Love and mercy, that's what you need tonight. Car wheels on a gravel road, way station closed. May the wind take your troubles away. Live bait, impeach Clinton now. Everybody knows this is nowhere. Everybody plays the fool. Everybody hurts sometimes. What my mother suspected is that for some of us, music in the car is as close as we'll get to flying on the ground. For hours at a time, we come Peter Pan or Michael Jordan soaring. Songs and scenery reach a perfect synchronicity, as if God, that greatest of all music video producers, planned the soundtrack for whatever it is that's coming through the windshield. Outside, water towers and telephone poles fly by. The blacktop is cut by white and yellow lines and unmowed highway dividers. The road is framed by cornfields, brush, birch trees, barbed wire fences, pine trees, firs, radio towers, silos. Inside, the chapel is lousy with the smell of junk food, air conditioning, cow pies, the occasional dead skunk, and the sound of harmonicas, fiddles, what have you, and magic. Speed limit 70, minimum 40. When we come to the place where the road and the sky collide, New Brighton, a Minnesota star city. We will not be lovers. Fines double in work zones. Packers power. New Cruiser Cup, only at Taco Bell. I want to be your man. I want to be your dog. I feel like I'm living in the wasteland of the free. Anyway, the confession. A few summers ago, I set out in my car to drive up north to do a story on former Soul Asylum drummer Grant Young, who owns a resort not far from the Canadian border. I got on 35W and started driving. It was a brilliant summer morning. I had a cup of coffee in me and was working on a second. The sun was baking my free arm, and I had a bag full of tapes and CDs. How about that? How's that for a little dating detail? A bag full of tapes and CDs on the passenger seat. Couldn't have been giddier. The truth is, I've been waiting for this drive for some time, since I had recently become a father for the first time, and my quality listening time had dwindled. Which is what I've heard plenty of new parents say, but music in the car has always been my favorite thing, for the solitude and for the singular state of consciousness it holds, or unconsciousness, as it were. An hour passed, 2, 3. I was flying with Peter and Michael, thumbs-upping truckers, drumming on the steering wheel, singing at the top of my lungs, jotting down psycho notes. She was an American girl. Oh, Sandy, the aurora is rising behind us. Road work begins July 13th. These are the breaks. I brake for animals. I love Wisconsin. Start seeing motorcycles. How does it feel to be on your own with no direction home? We like the cars that go boom. We're Bunny and Tigra, and welcome to Iowa. At first, I didn't believe it. And I shook, and I fevered. I had a little fever like I'm having right now. But I was all by myself, not with all of you nice people. But as the realization that I had driven 4 hours the wrong way sunk in, the first sound I heard was my mother's voice. I turned the radio off and drove in silence for a mile or so to the first exit. I had a quick lunch, got on North 35, and reached into the bag. I had 12 more hours of driving in front of me. That is not the confession. This is. I was happy about it.